Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm filming two videos today, so if you already saw this makeup and this navy blue shirt in the last video, it's because I just filmed it. Anyways, I went on the little community page on YouTube the other day and I asked you guys for some video ideas, and some of you gave me really good ones. And so this one in particular, I think two people wrote about it in like different ways, and I just kind of made it its own. So we are doing my 5 favorite and my 5 least favorite palettes. Now this is not my 5 favorite palettes of all time or my least favorite palettes of all time. I am only talking about palettes that I personally own. So I went through my palette drawer, took everything out, and I chose 5 palettes that I never use or I don't like for specific reasons, and I chose 5 palettes that if I had to keep 5 palettes out of my whole collection, those would be the ones that I would choose. There was something else that kind of inspired this video, but I'll tell you about that when I talk to you about that specific product, and that's going to be a little bit later in the video. So before we get started, as always, please give the video a thumbs up before you leave if you like it. And if you're new to my channel and this is the first video you watch of me, don't forget to hit the subscribe button before you leave. And now let's just not wait any longer, let's just go ahead and get started. Alright, so I'm going to start with my 5 least favorite palettes that I own. Again, this is only from my collection. Obviously, palettes that I like even less than these exist. I just never obviously spent my money on them, because why would you buy a palette that you know that you're not going to like, right? So these are just palettes that I got or I purchased that I don't like, basically. I'm going to start with this one here. This might surprise a lot of you because not so long ago I made a video doing 2 different looks with this palette. This is part of my bulk collection by Jaclyn Hill, and although I did get a good batch and most of my palettes performed really good, including this one, I didn't think it was super horrible to apply. But the truth of the matter is that these are not colors that I will reach for ever. I did the look and I kind of liked the way that they look, but whenever I'm getting ready to do my makeup for a non-video related thing, this is not a palette that I will ever reach for. I have light eyes and usually I go for colors that are opposite to my eye color to like make them stand out. So this palette looks a lot prettier on people with like dark or brown eyes than it does on me. I just don't really like greens or blues or colors like that. That's also the reason why I'm not going to be making a 5 looks 1 palette or a review on the new Jeffree like Alien palette. It's because a lot of the colors in that palette are blues and greens, and those are just colors that I know that I will not reach for. So this is my first palette that I don't really like that is on my collection. Now, I am not going to be parting ways with it because I do have the little vault and it just fits so perfectly in there. And I know that maybe I can like give it away to a friend at some point, or I could like do makeup on other people and use that palette. So I'm not gonna get rid of it, but the Dark Magic palette from Jaclyn Hill, it's just one of my least favorite palettes that I own. I had a little bit of a difficult time choosing my palettes for this video because of that reason. Like, obviously I like most of the palettes that I own, but if I had to choose my 5 least favorites, these are it. But that doesn't mean I like want to get rid of them, you know? Okay, so let's get another one out of the way. This one here is a little bit easier. I did not spend my money on this palette. This one I got in gratis at work. And I like some of the shades in here. Like these like colors are nice. They're pigmented, they're shimmery. I know that I have those shades in other palettes, and there is no matte shades in this palette to create looks with. So unless I am like looking for like a vibrant satin finish pink, I know that I'm never going to open this palette. So that's the reason this palette is in this video, because I would only use it for very specific reasons. I am 100% sure that I have those same colors in other palettes. So that's why this one is one of the ones that I just don't like that much. And because I know that I have these colors in other palettes, I'm definitely going to be sending this one to a family member that I know will get some use out of it. So now let's talk about another one that I did spend my hard-earned money on, and it was a little bit of a letdown, and I'll explain the reasons. And that is this one here. When this palette first came out, I was obsessed with it. And to a certain extent, I am still obsessed with it because it has beautiful shades. But in reality, I purchased this palette for $56 when it came out, which is kind of steep to begin with, and the quality of the palette just wasn't there. And I know that because of that, she redid it, and it is now a beautiful palette that has such nice pigmentation, and like her new formula is absolutely amazing. But that's where my frustration with this palette comes from. Every time I try to use this, I struggle with the mattes so much because they just don't really blend out that much. And it's hard to pick up the shimmery shades, and it's just like I can get a beautiful look out of this, but it takes me twice as long to do my eyeshadow with this palette than with any other palette that I own because of how the formula is. And then the fact that she just made a new one because she knew that it was like a little bit hard to blend, and then you have to spend $65 more to get the exact same thing, and then just kind of like toss this one out because what are you going to do with it, is a huge disappointment for me. So while I love every single shade in here, and I know that if I were to buy the reformulated one, I would absolutely love it, I spent $65 on a palette that I get angry at every time I'm going to use it. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about that, because I'm not a happy camper. It's so hard to blend out these shades, and then she just comes up with a new one and you're expected to like buy the exact same thing that you already had. Makes me angry. It just makes me angry. Okay, so let's move on to palette number 4. And it is this one here. I feel bad mentioning this palette in this video because I'm a small YouTuber and I don't get a lot of like PR sent to me. And Carity sent me this palette, and it was so nice of them to do that. But looking in my collection, I know that I don't use this palette, and that I'm not going to use it. It is the Rosé All Day palette by Carity, and this is what it looks like. I used it in a video that I'll link here, and in that video I was kind of like doing a Q&A, and I was responding to some questions and like opening a few packages that I had gotten, and I am so grateful for like them finding my channel and sending me something. But in reality, out of my collection, this is one of the palettes that I know that I won't use. However, that's not saying it's a bad palette. I'm going to package it along with this Makeup Forever one and send it to my little cousin that I know will absolutely cherish both of those. It just doesn't make sense for me to have it in that drawer when I know I'm not going to use it. And then if I'm ever doing a like all pink look, I'm not even going to reach for this one because I'm going to get my new nudes palette from Huda Beauty. So I'm going to be sending these to my little cousin because she'll definitely appreciate them and use them and give them better treatment than I ever will. And now let's talk about my 5th palette that is in my bad pile. This one is not a surprise, I don't think. It is the Subculture palette by Anastasia right here. The issues with this palette are well known. Yeah, I don't ever reach for it. Now, I have used it in the past, and I'm totally capable of using the shades that don't transform and get muddy. I keep it because I love Cube, I love Roxy and Dawn, I love Fudge, I love All Star, and I love Rowdy. Those colors that I just mentioned, I can work with, and they look really good, and I like them because they really make my eyes stand out. But Destiny, Untamed, Axis, Edge, New Wave, Mercury, those shades I cannot work with because they don't blend out nicely, and they get muddy, and they get like, it's just not a good situation. You try to blend them into each other, and you can't really tell the difference between the colors, and then it just like all becomes brown like all of a sudden. So I keep it because I like half of it, but the other half of it is absolute nonsense. It's so bad. So that is the 5th one on the 5 palettes that I like the least in my collection. Like I said before, I will be getting rid of these 2, and then these I'll be keeping because even though they're my least favorite, I can't part with them yet. Alright, so let's move on to my 5 most favorite palettes that I love, and I feel like if I had to throw the rest of my palettes away, these would be the 5 that I would keep. Yes, I'm pretty sure. So what I'll do is I'll do them in the order of preference. So my most favorite palette of all time, I'll tell you at the end of this video. And I'll tell you the rest before. Alright, so I organized them in the order that I'm going to tell you guys about them. Alright, so place number 5 goes to the Nervina palette by Anastasia. I love this palette so much. You guys know it is a row of shimmers and a row of mattes. It is such a beautiful palette. The only reason this one doesn't get a little bit higher up position is because it doesn't really have like really dark matte shades. But I absolutely love all the like ethereal looking, like just magical looks that you can create with this palette. I love every single shade in it. The formula is amazing. So I absolutely recommend that if you don't have this yet, you go and buy it for yourself for Christmas. This is palette number 5. Spot number 4 goes to another Anastasia palette. Anastasia kills it with her shadow formula, except the hiccup that we talked about before, but like usually they are on point. This one here I like a little bit better because it's more natural looking colors, and it has Mercury and Noir here at the end that can make any of the other shades get a little darker. I love the foils in this palette. The only thing that I would like have changed if I had the like power to do so is Fairy and Glistening are very similar toned shadows. I would love to have put like an inner corner highlight in it, the place of one of them. I think I'm like would leave Glistening and change Fairy for a lighter shade. But other than that, this palette is perfect. It fits so many skin tones. It suits pretty much everybody. It is a fantastic formula. It blends like a dream. Highly recommend this palette. I love it. So my number 3 spot goes to this one, and this was a little bit unexpected even to myself. This right here is the Desert Dusk palette by Huda Beauty. I love the tones in this palette. I love the shades. I love the glitter. I love how it blends. I love how it looks. This palette is absolutely fantastic. And I just think that these colors complement me and my eye color so nicely. I think if I had to choose a Huda Beauty palette to keep, this one would be it. And I surprised myself because I don't use it often, but I'm going to keep it top of the drawer from now on because I really should use it a lot more often than I do. That is palette number 3. So in the number 2 spots, I have this one right here. This is the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette in the original packaging. I bought it when it first came out. And the reason this is my number 2 favorite palette is because it has everything that you would need in it. I love every single shade in this. If I could only wear these colors for the rest of my life on my eyes, I don't think I would have a problem with it. All my favorite looks are made with these tones. So I don't even mind that some of the colors are kind of like repeated. I'm okay with it. I have more of what I like basically. I wish some of the darker shades were a little bit better quality, because like when you get down here to like the last 4, it gets a little like not as good of a quality as I would like, but you can still work with them, and it is a very affordable palette. And I absolutely love it. So this is my number 2 pick. And now for palette number 1. And I'm going to tell you that other thing that it kind of inspired this video. I was watching a Desi Perkins video the other day, and she was kind of like getting questions asked to her. It was like a little vlog thing she did. And they asked her, oh, like if you could only keep a palette in your collection, which one would it be? Like if you had to choose one palette and you had to get rid of everything else, what palette would you choose? And she said the Francation palette, and like for her it's obvious because it's her palette that she designed, so she would obviously keep that one. But I was thinking to myself, honestly, me too. So this is my number one palette right here. If I had to keep one palette in my collection, this would hands down be it. I absolutely love that you can create anything you want with this palette. You can have the most basic look or the most like out there glittery look with it. I think my 5 looks 1 palette that I did with this palette, I'll link it up there if you guys haven't seen it. It's my favorite 5 looks 1 palette that I've ever done because it has so much variety. So if I could only keep one palette in my collection, this is it right here. The few of you that follow me on Twitter might have seen that I kind of fixed it. I put the names under the shadows because when I first got it, I kept naming things the wrong name. The names were in the back, so I cut that label up and I put it right underneath each color, and that way I know what's what. If you guys don't follow me on Twitter, you should. I'm using it a lot more than I used to. So why not? I sometimes have things to say over there. So I absolutely love this palette. It blends so pretty. The shimmers are pretty. It's effortless. It's like easy to use. I heard they had it on sale, which is crazy because I thought it was a little bit expensive. Like it's expensive for what it is, but it's my number one favorite, so I guess it's worth it. Check out the Dose of Colors website to see if they have it on sale still, and if they do, definitely get yourself one because it is that good. That brings us to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree or disagree, or if I pissed you off by telling you one of my least favorite palettes is your most favorite palette, or vice versa. If you hate any of the palettes that I absolutely love, let me know in the comments down below. If you want, also let me know what your top 5 favorite palettes are, because you guys know I love reading your guys' comments and knowing what you guys like. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. Thumbs up are very, very appreciated. And if this is the first time you watch one of my videos, please subscribe before you leave. My name is Patty and I would love for you to join my little family. We are almost at 5,000 right now. Hopefully, maybe we hit it by the time this video goes out. And if we did, thank you guys so much. I really, really love you and appreciate every single one of you. I don't think I have anything else to say. My camera's about to overheat. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!